council meeting to order at 6 o'clock on August 11th. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looks like we have a few possible additions to the agenda. Under short-term rental appeals, we have two, Ben and Zoe I'm going to butcher it, I'm sorry, Vandenwelberg, and we also have David and Aaron Olson. Under the public forum, we have Cindy Mukato with the Cross Lake Chamber and the Chili Days Cook-Off, as well as the street dance. We have under consent calendar additional bills for approval. Under the mayor's and council members' report, we have a letter from myself regard to Northern Memorial Health and Ambulance talking about dedicated service. We also have an update from myself on that. We also have a memo from myself to continue to explore proposals for an EV charger and renewable energy grant opportunities, as well as another proposal on a policy for city-led community partnership projects. We've striked out the park and recreation update on the community center master plan project, and if there's a motion to approve, that would be appreciated.
I will move to approve the changes.
We have a motion. We have a motion to approve the additions. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Bob seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, number one, short-term rental appeals. We're going to start off with Cole Volkers, but first we're going to have City Administrator Conway as well as Police Admin Jen LeBlanc give us a little rundown on the situation.
Okay, I will start. In March, the Volkers, I was told, tried to go online and found the process quite cumbersome and therefore did not finish the application process. On July 21st, we submitted a letter stating that we were aware of the operations of 38646 Windsor Avenue as a short-term rental and have provided documentation of those ads. So in the letter was the fine and to respond within 14 days. Jen, do you want to add anything to that?
Everything's pretty self-explanatory. I would take questions if anybody has questions on it.
Okay, so it looks like this one was over just the whole not having a license to run a short-term rental. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'm going to give Cole an opportunity to speak. Cole, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. Or is he not on here? Is he in the public? Is he? Okay. Well, if you're not here to even appeal your appeal, I don't know really how that works. So, I mean, it looks like he clearly tried to start this, did not finish. There's fine evidence that he's been operating and advertising. Now, is this one where you tried to, in good faith, negotiate out a...
I did not get that far on this particular one because he went right to an appeal.
Okay.
And I will just let you know that I did receive today a negotiated reduced rate if a person would get registered.
Yep.
Cole has since registered on July 29th, correct, Jen?
Yes, he is in the process of completing his registration.
Go ahead, Mr. Lowmiller.
I have not inspected that house as of yet.
Okay. Well, even though now that he was caught and has been, he turned in his paperwork, I'd say if Chip can do a life safety inspection and get one scheduled and approved by the end of the month, we'll bring that fine down to $1,000. I think that's fair.
That is the fine that we did receive today on a similar situation.
What is council conversation, council input?
I agree with that.
Sandy, you're, Robin?
I agree with that.
Jamie?
I agree, I'm good.
Bob?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, I'm gonna make I can't always make motions as mayor. Does someone want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to accept a $1,000 fine, as long as,
Yeah.
as long as the, all of the paperwork is completed and
The life safety inspection by the end of the month.
inspection is done, yeah.
Okay, there's a motion to administer the $1,000 administrative fine, as well as if he can do a life safety inspection and get approved by the end of the month, we will have it a $1,000 fine.
I'll second that.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right. Number 2, we have Ben. Ben, if you want to, or actually Lori and Jen, please give your synopsis.
Okay, this is for property located at 35059 County Road 3, and this is for a garbage complaint. In the ordinance, it clearly states the owner of the, or the owner's authorized agent of the short-term rental shall provide sufficient trash, storage containers, and service to accommodate the demand of the occupants. Trash storage containers must be removed from the roadside pickup within 24 hours of scheduled pickup. On June 26, a complaint was received for cans being out over 24 hours. And then on July 17th, another complaint had come in. The ordinance does not require detailed measurements, but rather compliance with the intent of removing trash containers from public view and pedestrian access within the 24-hour window following the pickup. The expectation is consistent with citywide standards. And this fine is not isolated just to this property. We enforce this ordinance uniformly across the STR properties.
Yeah.
Prior to this fine, any educational notices or verbal warnings would have gone out, and there was a conversation with the fire chief on this with a verbal. We understand that enforcement can be frustrating, but the city has to have a duty to maintain neighborhood quality of life and enforce reasonable ordinance that all property owners, STR or not, must follow. In this case, the ordinance was clear, the responsibility for compliance was known, and the fine is consistent with enforcement practices.
Jen, is there anything you would like to add?
Nope, nothing to add.
Okay, just a clarification, just for all of council and myself included, when, this is a question for maybe Lori, Chip, and Jen. When they go through the short-term rental ordinance online, how we have it set up, they have to sign that they've read the ordinance, that they've read the rules and regulations, and so on and so forth, correct?
Yes.
I got a nod from Chip, a yes from Jen, and a
Yes.
nod from Ms. Conway. All right, Ben, go ahead. If you want to introduce yourself and your address, that would be great.
Yeah, totally. Hey guys. Yep, Ben Vanden Boy Mellenberg. My wife's name is Zoe Vanden Boy Mellenberg. We're at 35059. So right off the highway there.
Okay. And you're just appealing just the garbage fine on what basis?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so obviously we had a conversation as
Yep.
well. I think there's a really easy solve. So one of the things I actually just want to say prior to even jumping into this is, so we're going to be selling that property. We're only there for another 15 days before someone else buys it. And I got on because I love Cross Lake. I love what it's about. I love what you guys are trying to do. And I think there's a really great way to get there. But I think there's a couple of tweaks that need to happen from both the legality and like a mutually beneficial perspective for both the city, for the residents, and for the short-term rentals. I think the way that it's coming across, at least now, definitely feels and seems one-sided for a couple of reasons that I can kind of read out here. But my overarching thing here is I would love to help create a mutually beneficial way that, frankly, I think will help generate more revenue for the city than even $1,000 or $3,000 fines will. And I think everyone will be more pro doing that. So one of the just really high level things, Contracts is what I do every single day, multiple contracts per day. One, I think the really easy things, although you guys do call out, hey, so there were 4 documents, by the way, that we signed when we, did the short-term rental application. We had fire inspector out, completed all that stuff. One of the really easy steps to get across this, whether you guys are doing it annually or every 6 months for these fines and the associated fines, is having a simple amendment that's within the contract. If something's changed or negotiated, and that's one thing I want to get into as well. There was a meeting apparently that happened to talk about fines and to talk about, hey, what should they be and all this kind of thing. If something's changed on the website, which it could be changed daily or hourly, or you could hop on right after this and change it. And there was a contract that was made by saying, hey, I agreed to X, Y, Z on the website, but it's changed. It null and voids the entire contract. And I don't think you guys want that. I don't think the short-term rentals want that. I don't think anybody wants that. So I think one really simple thing would be when you guys roll out your fines for the year, have that as an amendment or have that as an exhibit on the actual contract itself. So I think it could have been a really easy solve, or can be a really easy solve, just incorporating that piece from the website basically on the document. And I think that solves probably 90% of items.
Can I just interrupt you? Can I interrupt you right there? I think you and I had that conversation, and I did have a meeting with the administrator, and I think since then we have linked those two together, correct?
Yes, I have requested that it be linked together. It's still publicly available,
Right.
so we did not hide it anywhere. It's still publicly available. It's clearly associated with this violation
And it's on our normal city fee schedule, correct?
and approved annually. It cannot be changed because this is brought forward annually. And we do have Attorney Joe Langle here, and he is familiar with this case as well.
But Ben, go on. You're doing good.
Yeah, so I think, again, just would be really simple, include that in the documents. And yes, I agree with you. You're saying, hey, look at this link, but that link technically can be changed at any time. So that was just the first thing. So second thing, as far as the short-term rentals go, and I don't know everyone's opinion in here, I'm sure everyone has an opinion, whether they like them, they don't like them, et cetera. At the end of the day, the short-term rentals bring real revenue to the city and to its businesses and to the vibrant community that's here around Cross Lake. Doing this level or this type in this aggressive fee nature, for something like a 24-hour garbage let out where it's $1,000 and $3,000 is frankly like probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen for letting something out for 24 hours. I get what we're trying to do, and I totally agree. Absolutely, things should be monitored. 100% think short-term rental should be agreeing to it. Think it's nasty when they're left out. I'll take a full 100% responsibilities. Ours were left out. We had a cleaner. They were supposed to take them back. They didn't take them back. That's on us. Yep, that sucks. We got somebody else to do it now because we know, hey, that for sure can't happen. But I think the fee schedule where it's at right now, it not only is you talked about enforcing a reasonable ordinance. I don't think not only is it not reasonable, but it's like so egregious. I think that it's really going to be challenging to enforce this across the whole deal. So again, I want to re-say very pro regulating stuff, very pro making it clear and concise, and I think that's something a really good contract can do a really great job of. And I'd be more than happy to, again, we're not going to essentially be a part of this anymore 15 days from now.
Right.
But I'd be more than happy to help because I love Cross Lake and I love what you guys are trying to do, and I love what short-term rentals do for the city. So.
No, and I think I would agree, and I think the council would agree as well, is that the short-term rentals do bring in tourism dollars into our community and really help our economy. And this is carryover from the previous council, which we are now dealing with, and we had made those fines pretty steep to try to incentivize short-term rental owners to abide by our ordinance. And there was many conversations publicly and public meetings with our attorney trying to say, hey, can we legally do this, whatever. And we were given the okay. But I do believe, I know you had said the one time your cleaner did slip up. If I'm not mistaken, this has happened twice, correct? You were offered a reduced fine, I believe it at $500, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Is there any other council conversation going forward? You know, I understand what Ben is talking about. I get it. I feel like the city has been pretty clear on our direction objectives with going forward with short-term rentals. I would be a fan of offering the 500 once more
Yep.
if there's council consensus.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
we worked for years on this, and I feel like we all came to a great understanding about, you know, how we wanted to handle this. And Cole, you think, or Ben, you think these, you know, fines are egregious, as you say, but I mean, I think they need to be at a certain level in order to encourage people to abide by, you know, the ordinance. So I agree with Jackson. I think that, you know, the offer of a reduction of half of the fine is pretty generous, and you did violate it twice, so I'm in support of that.
Robin?
So,
Go ahead.
just really quick, can I say one thing in there?
Sure.
I 100,000,000% agree with you. If we would have known that that was the fine, if it was in the contract, I wouldn't even be sitting here to argue it, because it's in a contract that we signed. So I don't disagree with you at all. If doing that level of fines to kind of deter people is what you're trying to do, get it. But again, when it's the first time seeing it, that it doesn't work. So it's not clear and people don't know about it. Clearly, I mean, there's a couple people, I think this last week, that got it, right? So I think if they would have known they were getting a $3,000 fine or $1,000 fine, they probably would have had 3 different backups to pull that trash in, because no one is going to be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just take a $1,000 fine.
Can I jump in if I may?
Go ahead, Jen.
So as state, you keep using the word contract. We have an application process. It's not a contract that you sign with us. And as Lori stated, the fee schedule is determined yearly and cannot be changed. And as part of your application process, there is a checkbox on the very first page that says that you have read and understand the ordinance. And in that ordinance, it states that the fee schedule is part of that. So as the owner of the business, as the owner of the short-term rental, if you want access to that, then that is your responsibility to dive into that and inquire as to where that can be found. It is public on our website. It's always been public on our website. So I feel that that is an ownership, that's something that you should take responsibility for, is knowing what those fees are.
Well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, thank you, Jen, for connecting the dots on the documents as well. I do approve the 500.
Thank you. Jamie?
I'm okay with that.
Bob?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, going forward, I do get Ben's point. I understand it. Maybe moving forward, we could somehow, yes, I believe that there's also, when you're reading through the ordinance, responsibilities of the short-term rental owner, but I do understand the logistical aspect of trying to get things maybe a little more streamlined and a little more simplified. So maybe moving forward, if that is something maybe Ms. Conway and Ms. LeBlanc or maybe Chip or someone can have a meeting about to try to get everything on one page so it's really, really in your face that this is what you're doing. But, all right, so I think there's council consensus on the 500. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Robin makes a motion to administer the 500 administrative fine. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Bob seconds. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of doing the $500 administrative fine signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right. Thank you, Ben. David and Aaron, Ms. Conway and Ms. LeBlanc, please give us.
Okay, on, again, July 21st, a letter was mailed out regarding violations. In the letter, it stated on June 27th, we received a complaint about trash cans being left out more than 24 hours, and then again on the 17th. We have been in communication back and forth with the Olsons and have heard their side and have received quite lengthy discussion on it. and I have replied accordingly. And I guess I would just say everything that I read earlier regarding the garbage complaint would be the same in this situation.
I see that. Ms. LeBlanc, do you have anything to add to the conversation?
Nothing to add.
All right, go ahead, Cole, or sorry, go ahead, Aaron and David.
Yes, thank you for having us and listening to us and having a conversation about this. We guys, we know that this is your first year going through this process. We understand it's a huge undertaking for the city. Hopefully, there's key learnings on the owner side as well as key learnings on the city council side as we go through this. I understand that, you put what feels like endless hours into making this kind of leak proof, but on our side, I think we would maybe feel that there is some vagueness to how some of this is written. And I do think that there is the opportunity to probably add in some additional verbiage that's going to make it a little bit more clear for homeowners on exactly what you're looking for in terms of this ordinance. Just to give you a little bit background and context in our situation specifically, David and Chip had been reaching out. We specifically have one neighbor who's what I would call territorial. And David and Chip have been talking about different incidences that we've been having with this neighbor, the fence that's been put up, the dock that goes right down the property line last year, and other complaints that he makes to the city in writing that are actually false accusations against us and against our short-term rental. We've owned this property since 2018. We've always, done our best to comply with every ordinance that's been put out there from the county standpoint. I will say in my conversation with Lori, I was never notified that even Cross Lake was taking over the licenses from a transition from the county. It was actually by my own ambitions that I went on the county website and tried to apply 3 times before I made a phone call and realized that the city was taking it over. And so even from a notification standpoint of the short-term rental owners, we received nothing. And so just so you guys understand, there may be some gaps out there, year one that you might want to look into. Chip came and did our walkthrough of our home. He said that we were the first house that he came through, to do the fire safety check. That's how on top of everything we were, and that we have been, since we've owned this rental property. We primarily have grandparents with their children and then their grandchildren with them. We have 6 to 7 families that keep their same week every single year. So we feel like we have a very good handle on our property, what's happening on any given day. Our trash pickup happens to be on a Monday morning. And as you know, most people up in Lake Country, they leave on Sundays. So one question I would have for you guys is, when can someone put their trash out? Because it doesn't specify, it says you have to have it removed from roadside within 24 hours, but it doesn't specify when you can bring it out to the roadside. In our case, our trash has been where it's always been since 2018. We have this nice little cutout piece of land on our property next to our driveway under some trees where it's not on the road, it's not on our driveway, but it's off the road. And when I read that it had to be removed from roadside, my interpretation of what was in this ordinance was that my garbage cans were not on the roadside, so that we were complying with this. Chip reached out to David via a text and said, you may want to move them closer to your side of the property, in which David complied. When David received that text message, Chip never said this is a warning in regards to a short-term license complaint. He never said that, it was part of ordinance section 23.7 and complying with it. He never specified that. When I filled out the paperwork with the city, I had put myself on as I manage the property. So I put myself down as the primary point of contact. And then you guys asked for me to put down a local contact that's within 20 to 30 minutes of our property, so that if someone needed to get there quickly, there was a local person. My assumption was that if anything was wrong with our property, that either myself or that local person would be contacted via the paperwork that I filled out. So, that would be another point that I would have you guys look into is, who's your number 1 recommended point of contact? Who's your number 2 point of contact? David does not run the property management of our property. I do. And so I would like to be the primary point of contact if there's anything. So David was talking to Chip about the territorial issues with our neighbor. We thought the neighbor was complaining that when the trash guy came to pick up our cans, it was getting put down, crossing or close to his property line. So that was David's interpretation of his conversation with Chip on that day. So David moved the cans closer into the inside of our driveway. Obviously, the garbage came the next week and they got dropped back down where they've always been since 2018. We have a neighbor literally around the corner who is driving over around the corner to take pictures of our trash cans. Not because they're in his way, not because they're in his line of sight, because he's literally trying to penalize us in any possible way that he can. And so it's one thing that you guys have to understand is that there are people who are looking to try to put penalties against any short-term rental license owner at any expense. They're putting cameras up, they're doing everything they can to make sure that they can try to find any complaint in which a homeowner who's doing everything they think they can the right way to try to trip us up with the way that things are written. So my other questions for you guys would be, so if they can be brought out on Sunday, what time can they be brought out? And then when they're considered to be brought back in, how many feet is considered away from roadside? It doesn't specify. Lori just mentioned saying something about being out of the line of sight. Well, there's nothing in the short-term rental license right now that says it has to be out of anyone's line of sight. It just simply says removed from roadside pickup within 24 hours. And so when I asked her if I could put up a temporary fence, they have these fences, right, for air conditioners and for trash. A lot of different short-term rental license communities use them. Asked her if I could put that on our property and then have the trash people utilize that. And she said to me, yes, as long as it's away from the road. And my response to her was, Lori, what is away from the road? How far is away from the road? Because where I had my trash cans, I thought was away from the road. So it is a little bit vague in the way that it's written and the way that it's being interpreted on our end. And that's something that I definitely want to put forth for your consideration.
Well, thank you. Do you have a little
No.
more, or are you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another minute, so.
Okay, well, as a follow-up, I followed up with Waste Partners because obviously they're a huge component of this whole thing working well for everyone. And I would ask you guys, has anyone reached out to Waste Partners to say, with these short-term rental properties, what's working, what's not working, what makes the most sense so that we can have a policy and a best practice for everyone in the community that makes sense? I reached out to them. They said that their driver will get out and will remove the garbage cans from a temporary holding place for $12 additional and put it back. And I said, that's great. I said, I just need to find out where am I allowed to have that temporary place that they're able to come get it.
So as
Because
much-
it needs to
Go ahead,
work
sorry, go ahead.
it needs to work for Waste Partners and it needs to work, for the city and the homeowners. But I definitely think that would be a value-added conversation because I think it could be something you could add in to your verbiage that Waste Partners for $12 additional, will do this roadside assistance for community members, but then you need to tell them, where it needs to be.
So if we start doing these temporary structures for garbage cans, Cross Lake is gonna look like they're gonna have a Rubbermaid storage unit at the end of their driveway all over town. And as much as I get your plight with it, go
It's a
ahead.
fence. It's a fence. It's not a Rubbermaid storage
I know, but I'm
container.
just saying it's gonna look like a structure like that. But we're gonna have snow plows and that's gonna start to be a thing, and snow plows are gonna push snow into these containers or these fences, and it's gonna be a nightmare for the city to try to manage. So I don't think that's a viable option, but I understand your point of view on that.
Where my cans have been, I've never had an issue with a snowplow or anything because, like I said, they are not on the road. They are off the roadside where they have existed. So my point is, I thought that they were in a place that complied with this ordinance, but
I
I'm being
guess the
they're
pictures,
not away enough.
I guess the pictures we have here, the trash cans are literally butted right up to the road. Yes, I understand your concern of what's considered roadside and what's not, but I would consider that roadside. I don't know if there's any other council members that, if my interpretation is wrong, that's not roadside, but to me, that looks clearly as roadside. Does anyone disagree with me on council?
Not on the actual road. It's on our property. They live on our
Right,
property.
okay, roadside, it looks like it's roadside, right next to the road. But I don't think we can get into necessarily what roadside is and what not, what is off-road and what's on-road, and how many feet you can have your trash cans off the road, and what time on Sunday night you can bring your trash cans out. Is there any other council input here?
Well, my only comment regarding what Aaron has said, and I agree with this, is kind of vague, is what does it mean they're removed? So maybe we need to add something about out of sight, so that, that's not so vague,
Right,
We
and
don't
I could
really-
understand Aaron's deal if, we did these fences, right off your garage or something like that, right next to your garage with the cans. I could support that,
Yeah,
but,
that's what we have at my house.
right,
Yeah.
right on side of the garage.
It's so unique and so different, right? In Cross Lake, it's not cookie cutter. There's not like a
Right.
one size fits all. But if you create some sort of parameters that at least you can say, like, on my structure, would this be approved? Like when Chip comes out to do the walkthroughs for, the fire detectors and all of
Yeah.
that, like, be like, this is the approved place for the trash. Does this work? Like, I would have loved to have that been a checklist item on that walkthrough so that I could have been like, am I in compliance, right? Because I thought I was.
That makes sense, I could see that, I understand that. Moving forward, maybe that is something we could consider.
And then my only other thing would be, I think it would be greatly appreciated if this is going to be your fee structure, $1,000, $3,000, and I know you can't change it this year. And David, I want him to address kind of the fees. We did a whole search of other rental area communities and what the fee structures are that they have, and we just wanted to share some of that data with you to show you where Cross Lake is in consideration to some of these other communities. But
So as much as I appreciate you guys doing the research, this isn't really much of a back and forth conversation figuring out short-term rentals right now. We've done this for a few years. We've had Chip and other staff members research other areas and fines and whatever. And we even asked our attorney if our fines were legal, and they were. So that's kind of where we're leaving them right now.
I guess my point being, I would appreciate a written warning stating what I was out of compliance for and what needed to change.
Now, how many times has this happened? Once or twice?
Twice.
Twice? Two?
Twice.
Twice as well? I mean, okay.
But we weren't told it was a warning, and we weren't told it was in regards to section 23.7 of the short-term rental license. David thought he was solving a neighbor dispute issue about our trash cans crossing over a property line. So what Chip and David were talking about was totally different than what we actually were fined for. So the solution that David put in place, he thought, okay, I'm moving him further away from my neighbor's property line, so it won't be an issue for him.
So am I false or wrong to say that anytime the city had contacted you or we went out there and looked at your garbage cans or whatever we did, there was nothing talked about short-term rentals, or am I wrong in saying that, or am I right? So did the city ever say anything when they talked to you guys about trash cans, about short-term rental?
Are you asking us?
I'm asking you too, yes, I'm sorry.
No, David can show you the text from Chip that just says
We have the text in our,
There's nothing that says it's a warning, and we were home using our own house, and he asked to move it away, and it was an immediate response, and I moved it away, and he said to move it by the side of the driveway, which I did, and I provided the video surveillance of it. I'm on the phone with him as he's telling me about this, and again, never saying it's a formal complaint, never saying that there's a fine if you don't,
or that it was
fine,
our
or-
warning.
or that
Yeah,
it's
that's a verbal warning. There was no discussion about that.
Chip, do you mind weighing in a little bit?
They are correct. I did not refer to the section in the ordinance that it was a fine related to it. I was giving them a warning. That's the reason why I called, to let you know that your garbages, I did say that at the beginning. We had a complaint about your garbages. That's how we started the conversation.
Okay.
I mean, can I disagree with that? What
You
told me?
can talk to it
I'd
for
like you to move
15
to-
seconds.
Chip said, I'd like you to move your garbage cans. And I was out there and I moved them. And I said, what's the way? Where do they go? Side of driveway. And that's exactly what I did immediately.
So then
So
this picture that we have in our council packets of trash cans in a garage, which is clearly off the road of right of way and not near the road, what's that situation?
There was a second call that he made, just saying, I need you to clarify that you moved them away. And so I said, does that mean like by the house or where? And I said, I'll just put them in the house. And I did. And I took a picture of it for my own records.
Okay. No, I was just curious what it was.
I can prove that I did move them away from the house.
So
Or from the-
since David moved the cans away and sent us this picture and put them in his garage, has it happened since then?
Those pictures are from another party.
Oh. Well, it's right on.
They're from our neighbor 2 doors down that drives around the corner to take pictures of our trash cans.
He
I
drove
don't
up to your garage with the 2 jet skis and got in your garage and took pictures
Oh,
of
no,
trash
that wouldn't
cans?
be
I don't
it.
think so.
No.
Yeah,
The
that's-
roadside ones. Well, actually, he's been in our backyard taking pictures,
yeah.
to be honest.
But I took the picture of the cans in our garage.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to make one final reference. You have mentioned, Aaron, about the fines and penalties. The very first part, when you go to the website, it says the ordinance. And under section 23.12, it says civil violations shall be subject to the fines and penalties set forth in the City of Cross Lake fee schedule.
Yes, but those were not included in any of this information that we were given. And like I said, we were literally like day 1, minute 1 in January. We had our information
Yeah.
sent into you guys, and Chip, we were the first walkthrough. So I mean, we were literally like the first
Before there
people
was
through
even
this
written,
process
we
with
were
you guys.
already working with you guys.
I think again, guys, and I'm just saying this from like a perspective of everyone, literally all that needs to happen to totally kill this
Can't be
is just.
speaking.
if
Yeah,
we're in
so
the
we're
actual-
gonna we're gonna go back to the current one we're on. I understand, even from the previous one, moving forward with Ben, maybe in our text messages or reaching out, inquiring about trash cans, we could maybe say this is a warning. I get that. Moving forward, we also can maybe tether these things close together. But I'm willing to do the same thing. If you guys, our council has consensus on 500 instead of the 1,000, what's the consensus on that?
Well, I think
I
we
would
have to-
actually prefer getting a warning, like an actual warning for the first time, because
Yeah.
we don't feel like we received a warning.
Yeah, in New York, it's $35 for this fine if someone's not moving their trash. That's downtown New York.
The average fee countrywide was what, 135 to 150?
135.
That's industry standard. Just
California.
Right, I get that, but this is Cross Lake, I understand the other surrounding stuff. Ben, I'm gonna go back, and I have to do this, and sorry, were you given a warning, Ben? Or were
Yeah,
you
it's the
not?
same thing. Yeah, so like Chip was like, which again I appreciated. Hey man, your trash is out. I said, oh yeah, is my neighbor pissed off again? Yep, probably got left out an extra 5 minutes too long. Okay, yep, we'll get it put back. But yeah, there was technically, and again, he wouldn't have even had to say this is a warning if in the contract or in this document, whatever you want to call it, Jen, was, hey, your first violation is $1,000. I can guarantee to you, sorry for the foul language here, I would have driven up myself on Monday morning to pull the thing back if we were going to miss it.
Okay,
Right?
hold on right there. Jen, when you've been going back and forth with these 2 individuals, have you used the word warning anywhere?
Chip, Lori, and I had a meeting when all of these complaints started rolling in about how we were going to handle the complaints.
Okay,
And the process that was decided is that with this ordinance, as with all city ordinances, Administrator Conway stated she believes that people should receive a courtesy warning. And that was determined to be a verbal warning. So anytime I got a complaint, which I have a detailed spreadsheet of, I would email Chip and say, address 123 ABC Drive, whatever, received a complaint. Would you please call them and give them a verbal warning? Then he would in turn make that phone call, let them know this is a verbal warning. And he would email me back, let me know it was completed. I would document that. Then when the second complaints came in, okay, they got their verbal warnings. Now it is a violation and it is a fine. That was also documented and detailed.
okay, so moving forward, just so there's no more confusion, moving forward, we're gonna start using, if we text or if we call, the word warning, because apparently that is needed.
Formal warning.
Formal warning, but I still have, I still am gonna make the recommendation of 500. If there's council consensus or other input, please chime in now.
I agree.
Sandy agrees, Robin?
I appreciate both parties' acknowledgement of the city's growing pains here.
Yeah.
And appreciate your advice. I do have to stand behind our decision on the first, and I agree to 500 as well.
Okay. Bob?
Yes, I think that's fair.
Jamie?
I agree, but I'm struggling with the verbiage of what is roadside, what is not roadside.
I mean,
I think we need to clarify that.
I think going forward, we can clarify that, but roadside to me is right next to the road, but I guess moving forward, that can be another meeting.
I feel like, we're acting in good faith to acknowledge the fact that, there are growing pains and that you felt like the warning wasn't formal enough, but, and that's why we're reducing the fine. So I think we're acting in good faith and appreciating the situation for you.
The $500 is still over the total national average by about 4 times, which is challenging, right? And again, for me, less of an issue than Aaron, David, and all the other short-term rental owners across Lake. But I think you're right. I think this is a formal warning.
Just to
You're
keep
not
order, I get it,
supposed to
Ben, just to keep order, I get it, but we're off your situation now. Moving forward, okay, so
Can I
there's
just
a,
say an additional thing that I think would be value added for everyone, because this is year one and there's so many learnings. I think it would be of huge value to have a short-term rental owner roundtable meet with you guys. You guys select owners that you think would make up a good group of roundtable key members that could help you kind of speak into this from our perspective and how we're interpreting it.
much as I hear you and agree with you and understand the angle you're coming from, the city has been working on this ordinance for 2 years. We have talked about it, we've had council meetings, we've had special workshops, we've had endless, mindless
yet it's still vague.
meetings, and no one showed up. None of you guys showed up.
Hey,
You didn't
Jackson,
come.
that's because
I
they
didn't
never
even know,
notified
we
us.
were never
They put
notified.
it in the newspaper.
Okay.
Right?
We were literally never notified that the city was
Seeing
taking
that there's a
rental.
consensus to move forward with the
once.
500.
I move to reduce the fine for, what is her name?
David and Aaron
Aaron
Olson.
to $500.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Those in favor of doing the 500 administrative fine signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. It sounds like there's some additional work that we can do moving forward to improve our short-term rental ordinance. Thank you. Public forum. This time is reserved for those persons who have a desire to address the council and have officially submitted in writing by Friday noon prior to the city council's meeting a request to be placed on the agenda. First, Pat Necco with the Cross Lakers.
Good evening, council. Thank you. I'm going to put on your screen here.
Where did I put my pen?
As an invitation to the entire Cross Lake community, we are inviting everyone to come to our community visioning event on Thursday, August 21st from 5:30 to 7. Come help us celebrate what makes Cross Lake great. You'll be hearing all kinds of things of what's happened over the last 10 years since the Minnesota Design Team came. And you'll be hearing future updates from Tim Bray, our county engineer, who will give us some updates on upcoming road projects. Mayor Jackson will be speaking on information about this from the city. There'll be information on the Community Center Master Plan and the Loon Center, the water quality, including the invasive species on the lakes, all kinds of information that everybody who lives, loves, works, plays in Cross Lake should be interested in. There will be food available from Massieris for purchase, and we hope you all can come join us. There will be a time for all of you to use sticky notes and put up on posters things that you want to see in Cross Lake and things you don't want to see in Cross Lake. And we will put those together and we will publish them and we'll bring them back, or Sandy might bring them back to the next meeting. And thank you, Sandy, for attending all of our Cross Laker meetings.
My pleasure.
So any questions on this event?
Looks good. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the continued effort.
It's going to be great. I encourage everyone to go.
Cindy Mugato is up next with the Cross Lake Chamber of Commerce. Go ahead, Cindy.
Good evening, council. I'm here today to speak to you about Cross Lake Days. Coming up always the last weekend in September. This year it's the 25th through the 27th. We have all of the good things planned that everybody is accustomed to celebrating with us. The chili cook-off is something that I do need a motion to approve, a chili cook-off in the city of Cross Lake for Saturday, September 27th, from noon to 3 o'clock per Minnesota Department of Health guidelines. We give the businesses the rules of the Minnesota Department of Health serving guidelines and preparation guidelines, and we have them sign a form saying they will comply with those rules. So we will just have a packet, a piece of paper on their chili surface that says, for the people that are tasting their chili, they're doing so at their own risk. We want that chili to be safe, and the businesses do too. But that is
Yeah.
the one thing the Department of Health will need, is that motion that you approve the chili cook.
Well, I move
Awesome.
to approve the chili cook-off.
There's a motion to approve the chili cook-off. There's a second? Is there any further discussion? Thank you for continuing this tradition. Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of approving the chili cook-off signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
There's a lot of other things happening that weekend. We will be doing the search for the lost chili pepper, the 3-day search around town. There's an arts and craft fair at the Lutheran Church, at the Log Church, in the town square area. The Historical Log Village will be doing their cider and candlelight tour. We'll have the VIP badge deals and discounts, live entertainment all over town. And then the Knights of Columbus are doing a cornhole tournament on the Pioneer Street between Reed's and Ace Hardware. And then Ace Hardware has a street dance. The TC Jammers are coming back. Very
Sweet.
popular
Good.
band from the cities.
Good.
And they set up the stage in the entrance of Ace Hardware, and then the people dance in the street. So we are looking for your approval to help us with Pioneer Street closure for that cornhole tournament in the morning hours. They finish it sometime in the early afternoon. And then the street dance this year is from 5 to 9 p.m. So we generally need Pioneer Drive. It doesn't block access to Reed's. It doesn't block access to
Right.
the Ace Hardware. It's just that middle section
Just that,
we
yes.
need blocked off for the day.
Yes.
And
Go ahead, sorry.
And then we need Patrick to help us with barricades and cones.
I figured that
As
was,
usual.
that's yes, by default. Is there a motion there for approval?
I'll make that motion to approve the closure of Pioneer Drive for the events.
Bob made a motion.
second.
Jamie seconded. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor of making the road closure and providing city resources signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions on the consent calendar?
I just have one note.
Yep.
It was stated in the minutes that I created the newsletter, and I'd love to take credit, but I did not. I may have been the impetus behind it, but Lori actually was the one who created it, so I didn't want to take credit where it wasn't due, so.
Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you, Sandy, but I think we'll leave the minutes as they state, so we don't need to go back and
Yeah.
do that. Is there any other further questions on the consent calendar? Seeing there's no further questions, I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
A second?
Is it Sandy seconds? Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of approving the consent calendar signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, it looks like we have some resolutions here accepting donations. So this month from the PAL Foundation, we have $48,313.90 for the pickleball courts. All the next ones are the Cross Lake Fire Relief Association, $14,495 for the Lucas chest compression device, $13,906 for the gear extractor, and $11,742.50 for the auto extrication tool. And Carolyn Breitbach generously donated $50 to the fire department in memory of Steve Rowe. So we're very thankful for all these donations. Is there a motion to accept?
I will make a motion to accept the donations.
There's a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds. Those in favor of accepting the donation signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next, so this is a letter that I had drafted last week to Northern Memorial Ambulance. For months and going back into the winter, Chip and I have talked about the fact that Cross Lake no longer has a dedicated ambulance service in town anymore. We still contract with North, but most people don't know in 2023, of November of 2023, Northern Memorial changed their staffing model to where they no longer come back to Cross Lake. They still tell us they do shift change in Cross Lake, but whereas before we had 2 ambulances in town and 1 crew, they would always go respond to a call, do the transport to either Crosby or Brainerd. They would somehow make their way back to Cross Lake. But let's say if something happened in Cuyuna or if something happened in Mission and the ambulance was close on that return trek from Brainerd, they would respond to that call, do the transport, but would always come back into town. That has since changed. And since March, Chip and I have been talking with North on this issue, and sadly we haven't gotten anywhere with them. So I put out this public letter and sent it to these 2 individuals that are a regional manager and then as well as like a public relations guy. And shortly, within an hour and a half, it got response out of the Twin Cities and they were calling up here to Cross Lake. But since that change, our average response time on our Cross Lake Fire Department data that Chip has tracked forever, the average time now to wait for an ambulance coming into town is 25 minutes. And that's absolutely unacceptable. So I had put this letter together stating that Cross Lake wants to get back to that. It's unacceptable. So that's the first letter. I don't think I need to read it. It's shared on Facebook. It's in our council packet. And I think there might be some out front. If we want to post that, we can. The second one was just an ambulance update on how we got here and how our ambulance service started back in the late 1970s and what has happened over the years. So that was the second update. In there, I mainly expressed that Cross Lake, even in 2012, for $180,000, built a dedicated wing on our fire department just for North Memorial or any ambulance service that came to town to show them that we are a proud partnership in having dedicated service into town. So that was another strong point. Just this morning, Chip and I and Jory Danielson and some of North's team out of the cities had a meeting at the fire hall. We are having another meeting here this month, having another meeting here in September to talk about some concepts and models on moving forward. It might get a little worse before it gets a little better, but I am optimistic in trying to see a better response time and change in Cross Lake. So that is going to be something we continue to work towards. So that's 2, 3, 4 is a memo here to the City Council. This is also carryover from last year that Chip and I had been working on of trying to get a high-speed charger at the fire hall. This would be an asset to the community, and it would also be able to help us offset some salary costs and maybe operation costs as well for the fire hall, or however we want to disperse that revenue. As well as the second part, the renewable energy grant opportunities, maybe specifically solar. We would like to explore the possibility of utilizing a new renewable energy grant to install solar power systems on additional city buildings. The fire hall already has some, and this investment could significantly reduce long-term energy costs for our taxpayers. This is something the city started last year, but now there are new grants available. So Chip and I just wanted to have permission from the council to continue to work on that, just because we have a 2-week window and this popped up on Friday.
Well, I mean, will the studies require like a financial investment on the part of the city?
Eventually,
But this, we're not.
we're just looking for proposals and quotes.
Okay.
So if anything required money, we would of course come back to the council.
Okay. I also have a question. I mean,
Yep.
does the fire station, do you have some electric vehicles?
No, we don't have anything at this time, but we have that south parking lot that's wide open. That could be perfect for, it's right on the main line of the power.
Yeah.
So.
It would just be
to look
for
into it.
public use.
We have one now at the school, right?
Yeah, and that's a slow one. So this one would actually be working with, in conjunction of possibly Tesla, and getting a high-speed charger.
Well, I don't see any harm in, investigating
Right.
these options.
That's all it is right now.
Yeah.
Any other conversation?
You want a motion?
Yeah, I'd love a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to allow the mayor and the fire chief to explore the EVs and the solar panels.
Jamie made a motion to continue on with seeking proposals. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy seconds. Is there any further discussion?
So the clarity is seeking proposals? It'll come back here before you?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So there's a motion, a second. Those in favor of approving that signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Another one is from myself and City Administrator Conway, just of conversations that we've had moving forward. We love our community action groups. We love all the volunteers. We love all the money that gets poured into our community. But just moving forward, we want to establish a process instead of getting inundated with these projects, even though we love that. But we just need more of a formal process to where we can talk about it as a council. So this policy would read, first it would start off with a project proposal process. Any community group wishing to partner with the city on a project will present the concept to the city council. The council will then review the proposal and vote to either accept or decline the project. If the project is accepted, if approved, the project will then be assigned to the appropriate city commission for oversight. A designated city staff member will then be appointed as the project lead to coordinate efforts, maintain timelines, and ensure alignment with city priorities and regulations. And then the ongoing collaboration, the third step, the appointed project lead will serve as the primary point of contact between the city and that community group. Regular updates will be provided to the council to ensure transparency and accountability. This is just to streamline the process, put the city at the helm of the project, just in regards to making those formal signatures with our partners and just putting the responsibility back on us if anything were to happen.
I think this is great. I think it'll help streamline, projects and help, keep
Yeah.
everyone on track and there won't be any confusion. I think it's great.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Just a definition of project.
Anything that happens in the community, I guess?
Okay.
Like Cross Lakers, they have projects going on. The kiosks were a project.
Did we get stakeholder review on this at all?
I don't think there needs to be stakeholder review on this. This is
I just think there's a
city.
lot of community groups that are so active and such contributors to the city that,
I expressed that at the very beginning of this proposal. This simply just streamlines the city and puts the city back at taking responsibility. We had an incident where there was a bench that got put into town that didn't necessarily go through city communication, and we have had to have that company back twice to redo and readjust and move because it was not necessarily coming through the city. Once again, we're very thankful for that operation, but there are costs that the city has to incur of remedying some of the communications or remedying. If it comes out of the city, it's our responsibility.
I don't think this is in any way a criticism of
It's not
the
a
fabulous
criticism
work
to
that all of our
anything.
community groups do.
Not at all.
But it's just a means of making it more efficient and avoiding, some issues down the line.
I mean, we talked to other city staff members about this as well, and it's just going forward. If there's more discussion, it seems like there's a rift here.
I'd like to speak about the rift. I don't feel like it's a rift. I think it's clarification and engagement. This is the first I've really viewed this, that I feel like would others be interested in reading as well to see how do I fit in? I don't know. I come from, where I come from, and the community makes Cross Lake what it is, and we don't want to squash their creativity, but we want to honor the partnership. So I'm just really, I guess, torn.
I mean, I think I was very clear again of how gracious and thankful and everything of highly talking about these community groups, highly talking about the money that comes into town. This is simply just a formality.
I don't think it squashes it at all.
Neither
It
do I.
adds some clarity to the process.
I agree.
Yeah,
So
and- yeah,
if
we
there's
got-
a motion to approve, I would appreciate that.
I will move to approve this memorandum.
There's a motion by Sandy to approve. Is there a second?
second that.
There's a second by Bob. Is there any further discussion?
I just think, you know, it's great if we collaborate. I mean, the issue with the trails, you know, someone got ahead of the
We've
situation. Yeah, so I just-
yes,
yeah.
exactly. This is why this is,
Encourages greater collaboration and efforts on
Right.
behalf of the
Wait,
community.
could you read this just so that the audience, I don't know if they're aware of all of this?
yeah, I can read it. That's
Great for
fine.
transparency.
So the purpose of this proposed policy is to clearly define the processes and responsibilities for partnerships between the city and community action groups. Our goal is to ensure projects are effectively coordinated, minimize confusion, and maintain accountability while continuing to value and encourage community involvement. Our community benefits greatly from the dedication of local organizations and volunteers. Their passion, ideas, and commitment have brought meaningful projects to life in Cross Lake. However, in recent years, the absence of formal processes for initiating and managing these partnerships has sometimes led to overlapping responsibilities, communication gaps, and uncertainty in the direction to go. The policy overview. The policy would give the city formal leadership over all partnership projects with community groups. The intent is not to diminish volunteer involvement, but to ensure clear oversight, consistent decision-making, and efficient implementation. Key policy points. 1, the project proposal process. Any community wishing to partner with the city on a project will present the concept to the city council. The city council will review the proposal and vote to either accept or decline the project. Number 2, project assignment. If approved, the project will be assigned to the appropriate city commission for oversight. A designated city staff member will be appointed with the project lead, or as the project lead, to coordinate efforts, maintain timelines, and ensure alignment with city priorities. Number 3, ongoing collaboration. The appointed project lead will serve as the primary point of contact between the city and the community group. Regular updates will be provided to the city council to ensure transparency and accountability. Once again, acknowledgement of our volunteers. We deeply appreciate the energy, expertise, and goodwill that our community groups and volunteers bring to Cross Lake. This policy is designed to strengthen those partnerships by providing structure, reducing confusion, and ensuring the city can fulfill its responsibilities for the success of each project. I make a recommendation that the City Council adopt this policy to formalize our approach to the community partnerships, improve efficiency, and ensure projects are delivered in a coordinated and responsible manner.
Can I just say one thing? I think, number one, I think this already basically is done. You know, Peter always comes up and talks about his projects, and Cross Lakers are really good about that. And I think maybe the one word that maybe we could change that might make Robin more comfortable is, rather than a designated city staff member will be appointed as a project lead, how about the project liaison?
I would even go as far as, because that's the only thing, you guys, I circled was a designated city staff member will be appointed as the project city lead. So
Okay,
you're the
or
city lead.
yeah.
You're not going to go to every group and be the lead for every group.
No.
You're the city lead.
Just the city lead, so
just-
communication between trails.
Add
we've
that
had-
word city
Just
in
add city,
between
maybe,
project
okay.
and lead.
Well, I mean, if you want to put city lead, that's fine, but another example is these trails. We have trails going all over the place, which is great. But there's communication between the community group, the county, the city of Cross Lake, and there's been grave confusion between city offices, the county, and the community group. As long as we can somehow designate TJ to trails, everything comes through TJ. The community group still does what they need to do, the county still does what they need to do, the city still needs what they need to do, but TJ is the point person.
I concur, and I think this is I think we're doing it already. My concern was just transparency to the folks here and online. And I think you're right, Sandy, that one word on that second, on key policy points 2, project assignment, on the second bullet, just add city between project lead, because they're not going to be a project lead for the private group. They're going to be a project lead for the city.
Right. Right.
If you're amicable to.
I'm fine with that. I mean, if you guys
Can I
are,
amend my motion to include that terminology?
yeah, let's do it. Hell yeah. All right, so now that we changed it, there's a motion, a second, are those in favor of approving this memo with the assigned word change, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Fantastic. All right, city administrators report and the city clerk report. Ms. Nelson, you're up.
First item you have is the data practices policy. We're required to update this every year with any changes to staff, and that's basically what this one is. There were only changes to staff.
Yep.
So I just need a motion to update that, please.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the data practices policy.
Robin made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Bob seconds. Any further conversation or any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of approving the data practices policy signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Ms. Nelson?
At our last meeting, we made a motion regarding part-time staff and healthcare benefits.
Yep.
And we were told by our insurance agent that part-time employees that work less than 30 hours are not eligible for benefits. So we could change our policy to make them eligible, but that would not take place until January 1st. Or we could change the motion that was made to say employees that work at least 30 hours per week.
Please refresh me. I think this goes to TJ's direction too. Was this for the librarian?
Or anyone in
Right,
that
but this,
position.
it got brought up though because of the librarian, correct?
Correct.
That was the impetus of this conversation?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fine to change it to who work at least 30 hours per week. I mean, the other option included here, I mean, what's the minimum, 10 hours a week?
What
It would
is-
be 20 to 25.
Yeah.
Since this was all brought up around one person moving forward, what is this employee working, what is her hours right now?
20 hours a week.
Was she promised benefits? What was the,
No, she's figuring out that 20 hours a week is not sufficient.
okay, then I'm with Sandy at staying at the 30 hours. Working 30 hours and then you qualify for benefits. Is there any further?
I support that effective this year, and then I would like to entertain beginning January 1st, 2026, that we do look at eligibility for people between 20 and 25 hours. So we could do the 30 hours, we could pass the 30 hours, right, for this period, then readdress it, but just before January, and amend it to be from 20 to 30, part-time from 20 to 25 could also accrue the HSA. But right now, we can't go to 20 to 25.
Let's stick with, if we could, stick with the 30 hours for this motion going forward, and then we'll bring back the number 2 or option number 2 through personnel, and we'll bring it back that way, talking about longevity.
Great, thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll move to revise the employee handbook to state that employees that work at least 30 hours per week are eligible to receive HSA.
There's a motion to amend it to have it state or read that work at least 30 hours per week, and then you would be, qualify for benefits. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Robin. There's motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of approving that change signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
The next one is just housekeeping. This is a road that has already been in place, and we've realized it has not been added to the master road name index. This is just the first reading of the ordinance. A second reading and approval will take place at our next council meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Commission reports, public safety. Jake, you're up. Chip, you're up first. Or Reed is up, sorry. Man, I'm way off.
Close enough. You got in front of you our adjusted or revised bylaws. And about a year ago, we came to you to join para, and part of that was we had to switch our vesting years. So years of service, it begins at 5 years now. You're 40% vested. It used to be starting at 10 years, you were 60% vested. As you'll see on the schedule, it doesn't really change for anybody that's above 10 years. It's still increasing 4%. Fully vested is still 20 years. So really the only change is that you can become vested earlier, which I think would be a benefit to our firefighters. It's 5 years of services. That's a lot of work.
It looks good.
Yeah, we discussed this previously.
Yep,
so-
yeah, it
Right.
was on it, and I think the council voted for it. We're just officially updating our bylaws, and that requires approval from you, so.
Sweet, thanks, Reed, I appreciate it. Does any council member have any question for Reed? All right,
I'll move to accept the Cross Lake Firefighters Relief Association bylaws.
there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second. Seeing a motion and a second, those in favor of approving the bylaws signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Sweet, thanks, Reed.
Thanks, Reed.
All right, now this one is Mr. Police Chief. Recommendation from Public Safety Commission to paint yellow at the County Road 66 in Daggett Pine. To paint the crosswalk. I think this was a goof up.
Not paint the crosswalk.
Right, this was a goof up.
Right.
This is to paint yellow curbing and not paint a
Correct.
yellow
Yes.
crosswalk.
We're gonna paint the curbing because there's a couple of VRBOs, it sounds like, right there, and the people park along that shoulder on the southbound lane,
Yep.
and they block the view of the crosswalk, so pedestrians have to step out literally into a lane of traffic before they can see around a vehicle sometimes, so.
Yep.
That was brought before the commission, and they won't.
I thought that was a good recommendation. Is there any further discussion on this? This is just another kind of housekeeping item. Robin, go ahead.
No.
Oh, sorry, I saw you hit your mic. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion.
I'll second that.
There's a second for Bob. Those in favor of approving of painting the yellow curbing signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Now, the next one is a recommendation from the Public Safety Commission to submit formal request to the Crow Wing County Highway Department to place no jumping signs on each end of the bridge on County Road 66 between your boat club and Marine Max.
Well, I better get it in while there's still time.
Is this a problem, a recurring problem?
Yes. And it is against city ordinance, so.
Well, maybe I can
Now that you've been given a warning,
jump with me?
yeah, now that you've been given a warning.
What about,
Right.
what about the bridge
Is
on
it
16?
formal?
I'm sorry,
What
Jamie?
about the bridge on 16?
We've never seen, we never have people jumping from that one that we've seen.
I'll go to that one.
It's still in our ordinance, it's just some signage at the end of the bridge, either saying no jumping from bridge, or no jumping or fishing from bridge, or, because that is in the ordinance, so.
Sure.
I don't think anybody really fishes.
No jumping off the bridge, no fishing off the bridge, no sleeping under the bridge. You can jump out one by rivers. Yeah, right. Right. Let's not and say we did.
So we had a few complaints, a few people called last week, and it brought a little bit of attention to this, so.
Sweet. All right. Is there a motion to approve this?
I make a motion that we put the no jumping signs on the bridge.
There's a motion for no jumping. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Those in favor of no jumping signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
And the last one,
And the last one, this was a conversation in public safety that Ms. Sylvester had, so I'm going to let Ms. Sylvester take this one.
Thank you. This last topic for public safety is addressing a resolution to support the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office and their agreement with the ICE activity. I'm going to just read a letter that Sheriff Kling sent to ICE in requesting that Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office is able to support them. It says, Acting Executive Associate Director Lyons, I'm writing to request Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office participate in a warrant service officer program pursuant to 278G of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Given our current relationship with ICE, the partnership will enable us to better serve and meet the needs of the residents of Crow Wing County, Minnesota. I've been in contact with your ERO Field Office Director and the local 287G Program Manager. Both have been very helpful. I am proposing the following. One, we'd establish a warrant service officer program in our Crow Wing County Detention Facility located in Brainerd, Minnesota. Two, the Crow Wing County Detention Facility is the only detention and processing facility in Crow Wing, Minnesota. Three, train 60 sheriff correctional officers assigned to the facility as warrant service officers. I understand the requirements for the selection of these officers. The WSO program will allow us to enter into MOU, Memorandum of Agreement, which will enable my agency to assist in expediting the transfer of subjects to ICE custody who may pose a risk to public safety in Crow Wing County. I look forward to a speedy endorsement of this request and hopes of moving forward with the program to benefit both agencies. So and that was in March of 2025, and it has been executed. Brainerd City Council in the last month has also endorsed support for this, so I felt it's really just a good cadence to say we support you, Sheriff Klang, and the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office. So the resolution reads, City of Cross Lake, County of Crow Wing, State of Minnesota, a resolution supporting Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office agreement. Whereas we on the Cross Lake City Council understand the importance of upholding the law to ensure safety and security of all our residents and guests. The Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office is leading by example with their initiation of the Memorandum of Agreement with the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Be it resolved, the Cross Lake City Council hereby fully endorses the enforcement agreement with Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office entered into with Immigration and Custom Enforcement, which was executed in March of 2025.
Great.
My proposal.
Fantastic. We support them.
Sure. So there's a minor change to MOU. It should be M of a Memorandum of Agreement, MOA. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd like to make a motion to support this resolution.
There's a motion to support. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Bob seconds. Those in favor of supporting ICE signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
All right. Pat? What do you have?
Good evening. The first thing is the deal from Bolton and Mink, a request paid from Linda Shores. The original bid was $80,420. We've already made a previous payment of $74,261.50. The amount due is $61,5850.
Fantastic. Is there a motion to get this billed out?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion. Second. Any further discussion? Those in favor of approving the remainder signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, the next one is for number 2 for Harbor Lane improvements. I was looking for, the amount that needs to be paid this time around would be $75,952.45 for pay request number 2.
Can you give us a little update on some of the work that they've done, Pat?
All the structures are in, they got half the curb done, right, Phil? All the curbs done now, okay. So they're ready to get the class 5 and start paving.
Paving Wednesday. Fantastic. Is there a motion for approval?
I move to approve the final payment.
There's a motion to approve the payment. Is there a second to approve the payment?
I'll second that.
There's a second to approve the payment. Those in favor of approving the payment signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, the next one is a letter from the Caspers up on Harbor Lane, 11790. They'd mentioned when they bought the property years ago that they'd given the city an acre of land. I have no clue if they did or didn't back then, but they would like us to put in 2 driveways.
Okay. So we don't know if we did, or we don't know if they did or didn't give us the
Right.
land.
I think my feeling was it was, the power lines went through there. And that's
There-
where they lost their.
Was there work on the planning and zoning side to dig into this at all?
No, we haven't done.
Okay, I make a
But either, my feeling is that we don't usually typically pay for driveways. If they want to add them, they do it.
No, we don't, but I want to just make a motion that we table this and just have city staff make sure that this is verified that we did not take an acre of land and then bring it back next month.
Okay.
I know it's
Okay.
gonna be, I know it's gonna be too late if they're putting in driveways, but this is something, you do for one, you do for all, so. I
Okay.
make a motion that we table this and have city staff do some more.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. There's a motion, there's a second, is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of having city staff look into this signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, ayes have it. Now, go ahead.
This is the one about the assessments.
Yep.
Phil, did you want to talk more about the assessments? You're more knowledgeable about it.
I know you guys have had numerous meetings between Public Works and Phil, and you guys have worked really hard on getting these costs down for the citizens as well as the commercial establishments along this route. So I really want to commend the Public Works Commission on this effort. I think that I'll let you speak on it, but I think this proposal is pretty stout and pretty accurate from what we started at to what you guys got it down to. This is incredible. So I really want to commend you and Robin and your efforts in that, so thank you. Go ahead.
That's just, we've whittled it down. I think the numbers look pretty decent. Don't you, Robin?
I do. There's a couple of committee members with us tonight as well, and I just want to acknowledge that we put a lot of hours into this, and it's not, hours don't matter, but it's the impact to the people. So I want to, they really dug into what did you do in the past?
Yeah.
And create some consistency moving forward. I do have some concerns about a couple of them, but as we go through this, I'll share when we get there.
So I think right now, we're just gonna slowly pan through this quick, and then we will go from there. So, Pat, let's tag team this together, and maybe Phil will jump in here if need be. It looks like going from the Nagel opinion of the market benefit ranges of January 2025, that the high bids, let's see. Well, they're all, of course, all the high bids are different for each individual deal. But, let's see.
But all of ours are below the high.
Right, all of ours are below, yes. You are very accurate in that statement, Sandy. It also looks like that maybe we had gone up a percentage, Phil, in some aspects, 10% because of the inflation?
You're hitting it on the head. We are trying to follow history.
Yep.
So this is what we're assessing is 10% more than last year.
Okay.
And it falls within the low end of our range.
And we're still doing I might be wrong in saying this, but by acreage, by parcel, correct?
Correct. It's a fixed rate approach.
Fixed rate approach, which I do like that. This was very integral in last year's assessments and the year before, trying to get back on an assessment path to really bring back our roads that have been neglected for years. And I think it is pretty fair now that we're going into year 2 of the assessment policy. Panning through here, I think there were some that had stuck out. Robin, I'll let you speak on those because you brought those to my attention, and I concur with your opinion. So go ahead.
I'm going to circle back a little bit. So the Nagel opinion had a low, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, because I just want to make sure we're reading the chart right. A low of, so residential less than 5 acres had a low estimate of 2,000, up to 3,500 was their recommendation.
That sounds right.
And then our committee recommended 2,200 because last year the same property was 2,000. So 2,000 with a 10% was $200 extra dollars, so 22. So just to get everybody kind of familiar with the logic there. So the condos last year were 500, and the recommendation from the committee was 550. this year, which is the $50.
Yep.
What's new this year really stands out is the commercial properties. We had a lot of discussion and some challenge with the commercial properties. Like, I'm going to be just ballpark because I don't know the exact numbers. Ace and Reed's had upwards of $30,000 assessment with their recommendation, and we're like, whoa, that's a whole lot. We were really concerned about that. We came to a really good place, other than I think too, and the golf course is zoned residential, not commercial. So it got the fee of the residential versus commercial. And then the resort, we didn't know how to figure out resort. We talked about it over and over because it's the only one getting assessed this year. And we looked at the hotel and tried to come up with a logic. But the logic to me still doesn't work out. It's still, we said $550 for each cabin out there of 13 cabins, and then the one house of $2,200. It came in, so if I can take, so team, the commercial property is Pioneer and Swan, and then I'm gonna toggle back to, gosh, I wish there was page
So
numbers.
what page do you want us to look at?
Go to the third last page, it's Harbor Lane assessment information. In the middle, the second, it's the summary page of Harbor Lane. Or you can go to the next page on Harbor Lane. So the third to the last and
Yep.
second to the last.
Okay.
So Harbor Lane assessment information, the summary page has the resort at $9,300. And then you can see that on the Harbor Lane improvements. So I toggled back and forth with Harbor, looking at the resort, looking at Whitefish Lodge. We assess them, we're recommending a $6,600, but then we're at the resort, a $9,350. If we look at, go back to, I'm toggling back to Pioneer to the golf course, which is Stone, John M. and Dolores, they're $3,850. So I just really believe in my heart that even though it's zoned back to the golf course is zoned residential, I still feel like it gets a lot of business there. A $6,600 like the other with Ace and Reed's and Whitefish Lodge at $6,600. The golf course makes sense at $66 and also the resort at $66. So those would be the two that I would make a recommendation that we do consider changing. Because they pop out, they're oddities. People would say, well, the golf course is, how can the golf course be zoned residential? It just is. And they do beautiful business, but from an equity standpoint, it just feels right to do the golf course and the resort and Ace and Reed's and the hotel all at the $6,600.
Can you go through and what is Reed's at now? So now you want all of them the same, or you just want the resort the same and the golf course the same?
So I think
Are they all
Whitefish Lodge on Pioneer Drive and Swan, they're like the sixth one down, they're $6,600. So Whitefish Lodge property is most like the resort. So I would say apples to apples, the resort and Whitefish Lodge, $6,600. The golf course, 66, it's just 3850 it's 26.95 acres. I get it, it's zoned residential, but 3850 just doesn't feel.
So where does Reed's and Ace come into the frame?
So if you look at, and Phil, I don't know if you have this sheet with you.
I've got all 10 fingers on pages here and I can't move.
Okay.
I've ran out of fingers. We're going to toes.
Okay, so let's leave Harbor Lane, because that resort is the only one on Harbor Lane. Let's go back to Pioneer and Swan. So let's just start with, I know these guys weren't in the conversation, but Scoyota Properties, am I saying that right? That's Mad Rabbit. So item number 3 and 5 is Mad Rabbit. Mad Rabbit has a 2,200 and a 2,200, because we were using the logic of a residential home to start, to kind of break it down for commercial. And I'm not going to say it well, Phil. Our multiplier for commercial was 2,200 multiplied by what? It was by acres, or how did we?
It was 2,200 times If it was less than 1 acre, it was ×1. If it was between 1.01 acre but under 2, it was ×2. So as you climbed over the next one, it was times, if you were at 2.6, you'd be ×3.
Yep.
So
Okay, can we just go through, Mad Rabbits is 2,200. What's Ace?
Mad Rabbit is 22 plus 22, so they're 44.
Ace is 44?
Mad Rabbit is 44. They have 2 parcels.
44. What's Ace?
Ace is
Ace is,
66? 66?
they have two, they should have two entrance.
So Ace,
33 and 66, 9,900, I think. is
Okay,
what-
so 9,900. So now what's Reed's?
Reed's is 88.
88. 80 what? 88 or 1, I heard.
There's two of them again, so yeah, 8,800.
88. Okay, and Whitefish, WF, is what, 32 or 36? Whitefish,
Whitefish Lodge is 66,
66. And the golf course,
is 3850.
3850. And then the resort, as it stands right now,
Is
9850.
9350.
9350.
okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said you wanted all of these to be the same. Is that an accurate statement? Because I could have sworn I heard you say you wanted all these to be the same.
So they were treated with the methodology, all of them were treated with the methodology Phil just talked about, except for the resort. Resort is the outlier, and as well as the golf course. The golf
Okay.
course was treated as residential.
I thought
So
I-
those are the 2 properties that I feel like, from a calculation, you did consistently the rest of these, correct, on the commercial. The multiplier, the 2,200 with the multiplier.
That was applied to Whitefish Lodge.
Yes. So Whitefish Lodge got 60, they were 6,600. And I think the compatible property with the resort is Whitefish Lodge, just because of its delivery of service.
So where does this golf course come in that you're,
So the golf course just feels low to me at 3,850, even though it's residential and you're running the logic. I mean, you can leave the golf course if you want, but I just feel like they're,
no, I hear you. I just wanted, because
Yep, so that-
I thought you said you wanted all these to be the same, so I'm sorry.
no, I misspoke. Say, similar in methodology, but with these 2 exceptions of the golf course and the resort, because they were wonky and we couldn't figure it out.
So I think she's saying she'd like to see the resort go down and the golf course to go up.
Yes, thank you.
And make them all,
Comparable.
make the golf course and the resort reflect
Comparable with
Whitefish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
That's why you get paid the big
Thank
bucks.
you.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
So the point in this is you just have to have a defendable position. Because
Is there-
the process is, if you agree to, yes, let's go forward, then we schedule a public hearing. We notice it, invite everyone to come.
Oh,
Part of
yeah.
the process is
Invite.
they get to, if they disagree, they tell you disagree, and they have the ability to then write that they're opposed and then
Right.
take you to court.
And your position as an engineer and helping us run this calculation, is that a defendable stance of the city to try to finagle those numbers and get them to be all the same for those 3, or no?
I think that it's defendable.
So you
I
do?
cannot say you're gonna win.
Right.
I
But-
feel like, what
As
I
lo-
appreciate in a month, when we do the public hearing, I'm not gonna appreciate anything.
No, yeah,
But right now, what
right.
I appreciate what the city does is you actually you did your homework. You have a benefit of opinion of market value
Mm-hmm.
that says it could be between here and here, and you've put your number on the low end.
Just as long as we have, your engineer's brain and engineer's stance of thinking this is defendable, that helps. I mean, I know you're not the city attorney. Hey, Jordan, are you on there by chance? Joe, Jordan, whoever's on tonight, whatever guest we have?
I am on, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, what do you think of that? Do you think that would be defendable in court?
I agree with Phil that we have a Nagel appraisal that provided a range. We're at the low end of that range.
Okay.
And that you've got sufficient evidence at this point to move forward.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Council, back to council. What is your guys' thoughts on making these 3
Well,
reflect the same payment?
is the bottom line the fact that the golf course is identified as residential, and so they are they're assessed in a different manner,
Yeah,
right? So, I mean-
through the calculation.
So I mean, I don't know if we say, well, that's not fair, but if that is the way they're evaluated, I don't know necessarily that we can change that without, considerable.
Right. No, that's a good point, Sandy.
You can change it. I guess my point to all of you is you might visit this again.
Right, this is just kind of getting an idea
I would be
going
prepared
forward.
to visit again.
Bob, what are your thoughts?
Confusing as heck.
I ran out of fingers and toes, so.
I have all my marks on here, so I pretty well have it figured
Right.
out, but I struggle with that too, if the golf course should be increased or if it's residential, it's residential.
And that's kind of sadly the lay of the, this is where these are at. Jamie?
I'm kind of mixed on it. I don't see I mean, the golf course is, it's a commercial business, but the way they're scaled is.
Right.
They're zone residential, so it's.
That's the.
It's a challenge, and they take up a significant amount of land, but it's green space. It's not, I mean, it's usable, you know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Robin, any other input?
If we're waffling on the golf course, I understand it, because I too was disappointed that it was zoned residential. It was just weird for me. I'm like, what? But I would like, if we could, to address the JM and B holdings for Bayview from 9,350 to 6,600. Because that's being consistent with Whitefish Lodge properties.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine
with that. That's fine. So let's just have that in a motion. Does someone want to make a motion to have the resort reflect Whitefish?
I'll make that motion.
Bob made a motion to have the resort reflect Whitefish's assessment value or assessment amount. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy seconds. Those in favor of making those two reflect the same price at 6,600 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right. So let's just, let's circle the golf course for now because we can probably have another meeting on this, or there's probably gonna be another meeting before.
I'd really like to see you move forward with scheduling a public hearing. We
Okay,
have
let's
30
talk,
days to
let's spend a
notice
little
it,
more
and
time.
We always get grief from residents that you don't do it when we're around.
I know. You're right.
It could,
You're right. I'm glad we're doing it this early in the game. But let's just have a little more conversation. If the Whitefish and the resort are now at 6,600, when I think of,
I just don't know how we randomly say, well, it's not fair, so you should pay more.
right,
I
and
mean,
throw it at the
yeah,
wall, exactly.
I just don't know how we justify that.
The rest of the logic was really, it's a calculation, and we did some very deep conversation. Maybe would it help to go through the commercial?
No.
No, because we're just on this at the moment. Okay, going forward, what was the appetite, or going forward, looking back, what was the appetite in committee amongst the planning, or amongst Public Works commissioners to look and reassess the golf course? What was the appetite of the commissioners?
Well, we voted to approve this, what came forward. I had a conversation with Tom, who's in here tonight as well, about those two anomalies that I didn't feel set well. And we did have a lot of conversation about both, so about all of this.
As the liaison, though, from that group, was there, I know you presented the whole thing and you submitted the whole thing, but what was the general opinion of the commissioners? Just to submit it as is?
Oh, we went line by line on every one of these.
Okay,
and
so
made a
it came
decision.
out line by line at 3,800, 3,850, whatever.
It did.
Okay, then I think that's where,
So the commission approved
right.
this.
So I think we'll
assessment.
leave that one then. Is there
Yeah.
any other?
I agree.
Okay. Jamie?
I agree.
Robin? Sandy?
Yes.
Okay. So there's that. So let's schedule that public hearing. You have a certain date in mind?
Do we have to approve this?
Do we have to
first?
move to approve this?
Probably.
Okay, I'll do
Let's-
that. I'll move to approve this.
Well, actually,
do you
hold
have a-
on,
do you have
hold
a
on.
Do you have a special meeting coming up?
We do.
But it's in the middle of the day.
No, I guess I was just thinking in terms of getting a resolution and getting approval of a date.
Before we approve this, I want to, if we look at the agenda, right underneath the assessments is the fees, where'd it go? Letter dated August 4th, 2025 from the Gulfview Owners Association. I do want to give them just the opportunity to speak, but I know things have changed since Friday, I believe, correct? In an email? What were the condos initially assessed? Please. 2,200? So if we're doing,
Are you talking about condos?
on Swan Drive,
Were they
Swan Drive condos.
2,200?
Or whatever the heck that road is.
The house is on
Swan Drive.
Right.
What did those get assessed at?
2,200.
2,200. Well, those are.
500, 50.
Condos, or are they houses?
They're 550, huh?
550?
They would be 550. But let's look at them.
Those are Pine Bay Road condos.
What about the Swan Drive deal? The Swan Drive, the twin homes on Swan Drive?
The Gulfview Owners Association.
Yes. What did those get assessed at?
2,200.
2,200?
Big difference between them.
That's what I was getting at. Why is there a big difference between the townhomes versus the condos?
Because Nagel had on that particular area, he had those as single-family residential at between 2 and 4,500. And so we have them at that. They're individual lots, and so the rationale was that's a single-family residential.
Yep.
They're all separate parcels, they all get separate taxes.
What hat are you wearing?
Chairman of the Public Works Committee.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, say that one more time, Tom.
No, that was the rationale, was, we reviewed that letter, and,
Yep.
the fact that they are parcels, that they own the property underneath their building, and it's a platted parcel, so it qualifies as a single-family home.
Since
That's
they-
2,200.
As they should,
Since they did.
as they should.
Since
But
they
they're
did,
not single family.
let's hold on. Since they did take the time and there was conversation, I will give them 5 minutes, or whatever I told you, I think 2, to plead your case and make your point. Chris? I imagine that's your whole little conglomeration of your yes, right.
My conglomeration back
Your
there.
conglomeration of support.
My name is Chris Cotwell. I'm at 14365 Swan Drive. I'm the president of Gulfview Owners Association. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Each of you should have received an email and a letter outlining the association's position regarding the city's proposed special assessment for Swan Drive Mill and Overlay Project. I would like to ensure that the email and letter are included in this meeting's minutes. I've got an extra copy here, a hard copy if you need it.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
We've got it.
But in the agenda, there was only the letter, the email wasn't included. Each of you would have received the,
We ended up getting the email, I believe. Or we all got forwarded the email.
Yep.
Yes, we all got
okay. As outlined in our letter, Swan Drive is not a typical residential community. Maintaining Swan Drive is important to the city as a whole and not the association in particular. Routine maintenance is necessary to preserve property tax revenue collected from existing homeowners and businesses. It's also necessary to entice future development and new property tax revenue streams for the city. Existing Minnesota case law has shown that to be enforceable, special assessments need to show a specific benefit to the property owners being assessed. Based on the facts outlined in our email and letter, the association does not believe it should be assessed for the routine maintenance performed on Swan Drive because there was no specific benefit to its residents. With that, I'll thank you for your time and attention in addressing our concerns.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your email and your letter. Most people don't really partake in city government, so that was cool. Like you and I go, we talk, we've had our talks. I would disagree to a certain extent that you don't have of benefit, because if it was a gravel road in front of your house versus a tar road, I do think you do have some benefit of having an asphalt road in front of your house.
It wasn't a gravel road when you just resurfaced it.
No, right, yes. But regardless, if it was a gravel road versus a tarred road, there is benefit.
Yes, if that was the
Okay.
case, yes.
Yes.
But that's not what happened here. It's just a mill and overlay, which is routine maintenance.
Go ahead, Phil.
So the city of Cross Lake doesn't consider a mill and overlay or full depth reclamation or reconstruction as routine maintenance. Routine maintenance in the city of Cross Lake is crack filling and seal coating. So this does fall outside of that. If this was a seal coat or a crack fill, there would be no direct
Right.
assessment.
Right. And that dates back for quite a few years.
Again, there's Minnesota case law that says the mill and overlay is maintenance.
I guess we could have been sued for years. If that is case, we could have been sued for years, which I understand. I get your point. Tom, is there anything else you would like to add?
It states in our ordinance that mill and overlay is assessable.
Right. Mr. Langle, are you on there?
I am, Mayor.
All right. What is your opinion of this case law that we could get sued for mill and overlay?
Hey, it all goes back to benefit. And this goes back to Nagel's appraisal. If they feel that they can demonstrate sufficient increase in market value in a before and after analysis for this type of construction, and I agree with Phil, this is not your typical maintenance type of construction, it's an improvement to the road, then I'm satisfied that the city can move forward based upon the range that Nagel provided.
Okay, thank you. Back to council conversation.
Can I add one more thing?
2 minutes if you run up here.
I don't even need 2 minutes.
Well, you need to state your name. You need to state your name and address at the microphone. And do 10 jumping jacks.
Lisa Cottville, 14365 Swan Drive. In looking at this graph that I got off the internet, the total of so we have 8 driveways that are very close. Everybody knows where these townhomes are.
Yeah.
So with that assessment, it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm an ex-math person, I'm retired now, thank you. We're paying, us 8 owners, townhomes, $17,600 for this assessment. And you've got places like the hotel and Reed's, they're paying $8,800. We don't have the traffic. I can sit on my front porch, and that is a shortcut. The thousands of people, and Chris stated this in the letter, that go to the new Loon Center, which we're all excited to have, but the overlay on that road, all the people that are using that traffic are not coming to my house.
I wouldn't
They're going to everywhere in the city, so I don't understand. I hear you don't have an exact science for even coming up with the math on this, but why would the 8 of us pay $17,600 and you've got a hotel that has a large population coming and going and all the businesses?
I wouldn't disagree with you.
If you could consider that in your calculation, we'd appreciate it.
I wouldn't disagree with you one iota. I understand. But the same thing goes to, and that doesn't always make it right, of past practice. And last year when we did Daggett Pine, we heard the same exact thing from the people who live on the community center road. What the hell, we're having to pay.
They don't have the traffic we have on Swan Drive.
Well, they have the community center. I mean,
It's not the traffic, Jackson,
Okay.
just come and sit on my
No, I
patio.
know, I've been there.
I've got boats, I've got semi-trucks, people taking shortcuts.
And I
that
don't
wanna go
disagree with
around the
you.
roundabout.
And I don't disagree with you.
Okay, if you could just
I
consider the
hear-
math.
I hear your
We know
point.
we'll pay something, but I think this is really unreasonable compared to what the businesses are paying. So if you could just take that into consideration.
I hear your
we
point
would
of
all
view.
appreciate it back here.
I hear your point of view. Bob?
Thank you.
If we're gonna charge the other townhomes on Pine Bay $550 apiece, I don't see how we can charge these guys 4 times as
Well,
much.
that's kind of what I was questioning. That's what I was questioning. But, go ahead. Tom?
They're a different, it's a different situation where I believe those, it's like a condominium. Is that one where it's off the main road and they?
They're a secondary road.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're classified as a secondary benefit. They're not adjacent to the road. And that's why they're considered a secondary benefit, and it's the reduced. And that even came out of the Nagel report, secondary benefit, where.
And they're
But-
independent.
We're doing the golf course at 3850, which has the whole other side across from the townhomes, and they're paying 2,200 apiece.
No,
It just doesn't,
I hear ya.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
I was so happy to hear you guys talking earlier on the rental units, on how long you struggled with that. Because we've been struggling
I know.
with this for the
I know.
last couple of years.
I know.
And in the last 2 months, we've got probably 6 hours in meetings to come up with what we came up with. So it's not willy-nilly that, we're using the Nagel report as a basis, and then we're trying to come up with a rational logic to assess. And the other thing, I don't know if that email got in your packet. Phil had sent an email where, the year 2 projects came, I don't. What I'm saying is, it's not always equal. The year 2 mill and overlay cost was $645,000, and we're assessing $589,000 of that. The Harbor Lane project was $696,000, and we're assessing $131,000 on that. Now, if you put those 2 projects together, they're both in the same year, they'll both be in the same bond issue. The total on the year 2 plus the Harbor Lane is 1.3 million, and the total assessments between the year 2 and Harbor Lane is 720,000. So it's, between the 2 projects, we're assessing roughly half, but depending on the project, where Harbor Lane has big lots and not a lot of lots, there isn't a lot to assess. The mill and overlays where we got back into Old Log Landing and Robert Street and all those, there's lots of lots, and that's where we depend on the Nagel appraisal, and that's where we came up with the 2,200 per single family lot. But the fact that there's so many lots on that year 2 program, it looks like, well, you're almost paying the whole project on that. But the flip side of that is then you go to another project and, it doesn't work out that way, that you don't have those lots, the number of lots to split it with, so.
Does it depend at all on the size of the lot?
Acreage, I thought.
Some of it depended on acreage.
5 acres was
Max.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, be it below that.
we can't do these townhomes at the same rate as.
Well, I was looking at the cost of a secondary road, but it's hard to justify Swan Drive as a secondary road when it's clearly, it's not.
Whitefish is 6,600.
I know, I hear you, I hear you.
Now we want to charge.
No, I hear you, I hear you.
I'd like to say something in 30 seconds if I can.
Kurt, I'll give you 30 seconds and that's it, and then we're done.
Okay. The part that's hard to swallow is that when we look at square footage, our property isn't much wider than this building right here.
I know.
And you're assessing the other properties Ours is a lot more than that, and they're actually have a lot more of the roadway got improved, so it just doesn't make sense that way. We don't think it's fair that way, that's all we're saying. And it's, $17,600
I hear you. I hear
for
you.
8 units, not much wider than this. That's all it is. Our land goes straight out, and there's only 4 driveways. We share a driveway because they're so narrow. They're not real, so we'd like to have a reduction is what we're asking for. We don't want to have to come back at other meetings and have,
No, we're not
contesting it.
we're
We just
not
want
doing more
fairness.
meetings on this.
Yeah, because we looking at the other ones, $2,200 for a lot of these commercial properties. We're not commercial, and we're very narrow residential.
I hear you, Kurt.
Time's up, thank you.
Thank you.
Kurt Mowers, 14405 Swan Drive.
All right, no more conversation on that. We're done with public comment on that. All right. Let's see. I get the plight. I understand the plight. Bob, do you have any recommendations? You're pretty strong on this topic. Do you have any proposal?
I think the fee for the townhomes needs to be lowered. They're townhomes. And they're they're small lots.
What are you proposing? So what are they at, 22 now? Are you thinking 1,500? Well, hey. If you could think it would be 0, but.
Well, if we're looking at what Whitefish is paying for a full block, 6,600, and what Reed's is paying for a full block of 8,800.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's a separate, I agree, but I think it should be 1,100 per unit would be fair.
Yeah,
Just as commissioner, that's it. As.
No more input?
No, you, as, whatever. One more. 30 seconds. You can either save it or use it now.
I'll warn you. If you start messing around with the formula saying, just because a group showed up and said, oh, you put us all together and we're $17,000. That's their home property, their parcel, and that's no different than any of the home parcels out in Old Log Landing or Robert Street or anywhere else. And if you start saying, oh, well, these people should only get 1,100, I can guarantee you at the assessment hearing, they're all gonna have to go down to 1,100 because you're gonna have a packed room saying,
and I don't disagree.
That's my home.
I agree with you. I am really reluctant to undermine all of the work that you, commission, has done in establishing this and putting this together. You've gone by an objective measurement, the Nagel, and I feel for these people, I would probably feel exactly the same way if I were you, but it's a slippery slope to start, altering them just because someone's unhappy with it. I feel for you guys, but I also feel like the integrity of the work that you've done and the integrity of the overall process, I think we need to respect.
I think we're on pretty solid ground with what we came up with, using the Nagel market value appraisals. But, we're at a point right now where we're just asking you to, this is what we want to send out to people, that this is what your proposed assessment is. Then these same people will have an opportunity at the assessment hearing. And, I don't know if this room's gonna be big enough for the assessment hearing when you bring in Old Log Landing. And, we heard from them that, oh, you used our road as a detour for the sewer project and busted it up, and now you mill and overlaid it and you're assessing us. We struggled with a lot of these and tried to be as fair as we could. And yet you have to try to be as consistent as you can, because when you start deviating from that, you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, thank you, Tom. I'm gonna start down at your end and go this way. And or do you have something?
I just wanted to add that even vacant lots, so let's say a homeowner owned one parcel on one side of a road and another parcel on another side of a road. One of them's vacant, one of them's lived on. We assessed the vacant lot the same amount as their regular house.
Yeah.
It was gut-wrenching for us to do. It's not fun, but I do want to say, I think we worked really hard, and I would honor the numbers that are there. The secondary lots are at $1,100 out on, where is that, on our Harbor Lane, with the same sort of square footage, similar square footage as what this group has. So I would stay with the 2,200 for now.
You took the words out of my mouth to go down the line. Bob?
I think the townhomes are a unique situation. They're not single-family homes. They're small lots. They have a common wall. It's entirely different. When you look at the stretch that they have and how much they're paying compared to, again, Whitefish Properties, it's unfair. It's just common sense. It defies logic.
Bob, I would agree with you. I understand it's a slippery slope. I think this is something maybe that the city could justify as a unique circumstance, just like what we did with the golf course and, the other 3 properties. I necessarily wouldn't go as low as $1,100. I was thinking maybe more in the ballpark of $1,500, but I still think that maybe something could be looked at. Jamie?
I think something to be looked at. I'm kind of agreement on both sides. I just don't understand how other ways to do it other than a percentage, and we know a percentage doesn't work because of the
first, right.
Right, so.
Sandy?
I've already stated where I stand.
Okay. Well, the 3 of us, what are your thoughts at 1,500? Or do you want to put it out as stated right now, and when we do the assessment hearing, we can deal with it then?
I would put it out as stated now. Otherwise, we're
As would I.
putting in.
Oh, I hear you. But the other token is if we don't do it now and propose it now to be sent out the way it is, if we change one thing at the assessment hearing, it's the gamble you take. If we propose to change one thing there, then everyone's going to be like, well, why'd you change them and not us?
Irregardless, people are going to know that we changed it.
Yeah.
Well, just as long as we have a leg to stand on. So is there a motion to approve it as it states now?
I move to approve it as it is stated.
There's a motion to approve it as stated. Is there a second? There's a second by Robin Sylvester, or by Robin. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of approving it as stated now signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against signify by saying no.
No.
4-1. The motion is passed. All right, E.
All right, we got a feasibility study for Sunrise Boulevard.
All right. Did we make sure for sure that they met their 35%? I know there was some question, Phil, that if they made it or not.
So the question was, if you've been to Sunrise Boulevard, there's 3 large lots on the westerly side that are common association. The people that showed up the night or that meeting said that they pay, they all share in the tax associated with that, so they felt like they were 1/17 each.
Okay.
So they had 35% signatures. More than 35% if you didn't count those 3 lots, if you're gonna use their same apportionment. I think they make it.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as there's 35% and the engineer thinks we made it, we have that. Looks like they're petitioning us to have their road be appraised and then put on the 5-year road plan. With that 35% threshold being met, Pat, is there any other points of information that you would like to add?
No, just need to move forward with it.
Okay, so now this is for $17,000. Can you speak on that, please? $17,745.
I'm sorry, I was looking at something else.
It's okay. But
All right, I gotta get back to that one. Like I said, I was Off looking at something. All right, what do you want to know about that now?
The $17,775, or sorry, $17,745 for the field topographic / boundary survey and the feasibility report and improvement hearing. Where is this money coming out of since we didn't have it in your budget?
Where does that come out, Lori? For that, is that gonna?
Since this wasn't scheduled, and it wasn't on the road assessment, and it wasn't in our budget to do we push it off till 2026? Okay. Lori, do you know where the money is coming from to pay this?
It's an accessible cost.
Okay.
It'll be a
Part of the project. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Well, now that we have that answer, is there any council discussion?
No, I'd like to move to approve this.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second. Those in favor of approving this signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Last one, F.
Last is the Crow Wing County Highway Department, future county highway projects.
Do you want to read this?
I was not seeing that. Oh, here it is. All right. Crow Wing County Highway Department is planning on rehabilitating 103 in the summer of 2026. And just following up as project manager above referenced project within the city of Cross limits, the information below will inform the city about the upcoming project and provide the opportunity to give the city feedback, which we've been discussing about it with the, having the, what do you want to call it, the, that one study we're doing along there for the Indians.
Archaeologists.
Archaeology, there you go. Sorry, couldn't think of the right words there. Over the past year, the city and county have had multiple conversations related to the proposed right turn lanes and stripe within the travel lanes. Throughout the guidance received from the city, the county plans to move forward with striping the travel lanes at 11 feet wide, allowing a 1 foot additional paved shoulder, installing center line mumble strips for added safety with the narrow 11 foot lanes and foregoing right turn lane at Perkins Road. The purpose of the letter is just to project is currently that in the preliminary planning and design phase, if the city wishes to address any concerns, aspects of the project or bid any resurfacing projects jointly, please contact them.
Awesome, great. Let's see how that archaeological study comes back. All right, thanks, Pat. Public forum, this is for those persons that wish to address the council. The council recognizes the value of citizen input. Time will be limited to 3 minutes or longer if the mayor feels necessary. Is there anybody for public forum? Tom?
I would like to.
All right, we'll grab you in a second, Ben. Mr. Swenson,
I just have a quick question.
what hat are you in? Or what hat's on?
Public Works.
Okay, go ahead.
Now that we have the assessments approved by you guys, what is schedule for scheduling the?
I think we're gonna get to that under new business. I have it on
okay.
I have it on my paper.
Okay.
Do you guys have a meeting in between now and when's the next Public Works meeting?
It won't be till
Okay, okay. Is there anybody else for public forum? I think, Ben, you said you wanted to hop on?
Yeah,
All right,
thanks.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to shoot off a couple notes. So a couple of things I heard on the call, or on the call here were that it'd be great to have more funding. There's a couple of projects you talked about, like an ambulance, faster charging station, upgraded roads, things like that. I think there's a missed opportunity here with short-term rentals. Based on the AirDNA data, there's 1,433 rentals in the Cross Lake area. Probably not recognized all of them. But I think you could be charging more as a fee and then having a city employee basically be the correspondent. At a minimal fee, you'd be bringing in about $1.3 million on the low end from revenue. And then if you had kind of a point person, you could easily be managing these and
Did you say
dishing out these fees.
1,400?
I say, did you say 1,400 rentals?
Yeah, 1,433 on
I mean, we were
AirDNA.
lucky even with GovOS before we went with them. They said we maybe had 300.
That's wrong. You can check out AirDNA.
Chip,
It's
can you-
got a lot more accurate data. But anyway, just wanted to say I think there's a revenue opportunity. Again, for me, this really doesn't matter for me anymore, but I think there's a huge missed opportunity here for you guys to be generating money for the city, be bringing in really important things like ambulance and, time to speed there. I think there's just a lot of money that'd be going to the police force, the firefighting force, and to be helping the city more. Last thing I want to say is for moving forward for short-term rentals, I think it's imperative that you guys notify short-term rentals you're having a meeting, not just in the newspaper, because I think probably less than 10% of the short-term rentals actually live there and read the newspaper. You guys have their phone numbers, emails, and home addresses, because that's how you guys contacted us to let us know we were getting a $1,000 fine. I think it'd be really a great idea to involve them in the decision-making process. And I think it'd be better for everyone. I think you guys would generate more revenue. So I wish the best
for your
guys.
input. I appreciate that. Thank you. Is there any other public forum? Seeing no other public forum, I'm closing public forum. Under new business, let's set a date for the assessment values to be put out for that public hearing. I want to try, go ahead.
Give me a date, and then we'll approve a resolution for that
Okay.
on August 20th at our special council meeting.
Okay, so is there a time frame and how fast we should do this? Is it like recommended to do it within a month, within 3 weeks? What's to get mail out and blah, blah, blah? What's your recommendation?
Communication and time is key, so you need minimum of 30 days to do this. So I think if you get into, I don't think you want to have it the same night as your council meeting.
Let's do it
Throw that out there. So,
September 24th.
Yeah, later in
Wednesday, September 24th at 6 o'clock. How does that work for city council members?
I think
Okay.
that's good.
Pashar, you're okay with that?
I know something.
Apparently my calendar says it's on the 24th. That's the 17th. Or that's the budget is the 10th. Okay. The 24th at 6 o'clock, but it's Rosh Hashanah something day. Put it for that day. All right, so we've got that. I wanted to bring something to, well, does any other council member have any other new business before I go into my other new business?
No.
Just driving around, I think that roundabout, it's beautiful, but it's starting to look like hell. Is there any way we can or put it in our budget to rip out the plantings and rip out the mulch and do grass?
The county's already added on their list to do.
Okay.
They have to replace it once, and so it's on their to-do list.
I know it's on their to-do list, but I know we were talking about warranting out plants or whatever. Is there any way we can?
Isn't it a 2-year warranty on all of the plantings?
Is it 2 or 1?
The grass looks like heck all along.
Well, that's why if we actually
still
planted
is-
decent grass and mowed it and had it look nice, because right now it looks like hell.
I understood when we put the plans together that there was a 2-year warranty, just like the log church pond
Yeah.
area. So, and I think a comment was made, we'll do it only one more time. In my view, it's 2 years, as many times as it takes to get this stuff growing. You spent a lot of money
I
on
know.
that roundabout.
As long as we get all those plantings, because there's little tufts of grass here and there, there's nothing in that roundabout, and it looks like total you-know-what.
You-know-what.
So, all right, that's my only new business or gripe. Does anybody else have anything? Anything from staff? Anything? Old business?
I have
or do
something
you
to
still have
say.
new business?
Nope, I'm good.
Are you sure? Oh, okay. Old business, any old business, city staff, any carryover that we need clarification or polish up on? All right, city attorney report, is there anything new in your world?
Nothing to report, thank you, Mayor.
All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully you had some ice cream or something. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn this meeting.
I have something to say.
That was under public forum.
Yeah.
So we're going to stick with the regiment, and that was under public forum. All right, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Sandy made the second. Those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.